କେହି ବି ଲେଫ୍ଟ ହୁଅନି ମ୍ୟାମ୍ 5-10 ମିନିଟ୍ ଭିତରେ ଆସୁଛନ୍ତି କ୍ଲାସ୍ ହବ ଏଇନା।
So the study of fundamental questions about reality.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening,
Good
ma'am.
evening, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
I'm sorry for late joining. There is a network problem, so I'm joining late. Now I'll discuss. I'm presenting my screen. The screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Today we will discuss about the organizational structure and policy implementation. So here, in previous class, we already discussed about the structure of Indian education, that is ancient and medieval education in India. So now we'll discuss about the history of educational department. The history of the educational department in India has evolved significantly from ancient times to the modern era. So first of all, we'll discuss about the ancient and medieval education in India. That is ancient period. First of all, we'll discuss the screen is visible. Is the screen is visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
In
Yes,
the
ma'am.
In the Gurukula system, the education system is formal or informal?
Formal.
In Gurukula system, in ancient period, in before 12th century, there was the education system of the Gurukula system, and the education was informal and based on oral transmission in Gurukula, where students lived with their teachers, that so-called guru. And in the Vedic and Buddhist education system, there are Taksasila and also Nalanda where the university, Taksasila in 6th century and Nalanda in 5th century, because became the uh, uh, famous for higher learning. So in the Vedas era, subject included Vedas like mathematics, medicine, astronomy, and philosophy. But in the medieval period, that is from 12th to 18th century, Islamic education was introduced, and with the establishment of madrasa and maktaba by the Delhi Sultanate and Mughal rulers, then in the Islamic education period, prominent institutions like Madrasa-i Rahimia and other that focused on Arabic, Persian, and Islamic studies. And they are Hindu and Buddhist learning centers. At that time, Hindus and Buddhist learning centers declined due to socio-political changes. After that, British colonial era was established from 19th century to 20th century. The British East India Company initially focused on educating Indians for administrative roles, and we already discussed Lord Macmillan Minutes in 1835 promoted English education over traditional Indian learning. Then the Woods Dispatch, 1854, is considered the Magna Carta of India in education, recommending a structural education system with primary, secondary, and higher education. At that time, the schooling system is formally introduced. Then the Hunter Commission, 1882, focused on expanding primary education, and university like Kolkata, Bombay, and Madrasa in 1857 were established under the Indian University Act. The Indian University Act 1904. mm, After that, the post-independence era developed that is from 1947 to at present. So, after independence, the early reforms are 1947 to 1986, that is the University Education Commission by Dr. Radhakrishnan, emphasized higher education reform. Then Secondary Education Commission, that is Mudaliar Commission, recommended modernizing secondary education. And after that, Kothari Commission 1964 to 66 laid the foundation for the national policy of education 1968. So emphasizing universal primary education and common school system. The first one, that is called Radhakrishnan Commission, emphasized on higher education, and the second is the Mudaliar Commission that emphasized on secondary education, and at last the Kothari Commission. After the Kothari Commission, NP 1968 emphasized the universalization of education and common school system, that is 10+2 pattern. After that, the national policy on education introduced a uniform education system, that is called 10+2+3 system, and also revised at 1992 program of action focused on inclusive education, literacy program like Operation Blackboard and vocational education. So these are the reforms after independence, and at three stages. Then there are the recent development in the educational sector. The Right to Education Act 2009 made education free and compulsory for children aged from 6 to 14. After that, the national education policy is come out in 2020, introduced reforms like 5+3+3+4 school structure, replacing 10+2+3 system, and multilingual education and focus on skill development, and increased digital learning and higher education. Mm, Look into all the educational system and all the granting and funding and reviewing and evaluation. So there is UGC in 1956 regulate higher education, NCRT that constituted in 1961 that developed school curriculum, and AICT constituted in 1987 that look out the technical education. So this is the history and evolution of the educational department. India educational department has transitioned from gurukulas and madrasa to a structural system. We can call it that informal to formalize the education system under British rule, and now focuses on modernization, skill development, and digital education. The NEP 2020 aims to move Indian education globally competitive while preserving its cultural heritage. Then educational administration, we'll discuss the educational administration at the state level. Before that, the establishment of education departments in different Indian states evolved over time, influenced by colonial policy, constitutional development, and socio-economic factors. Here, uh, in the pre-independence period, during the British rule, education was primarily controlled by the provincial government under the Government of India Act 1919, which introduced diarchy, making education a transport subject under Indian Ministry. Then the Government of India Act 1935 further strengthened provincial autonomy, allowing provinces to from their own education department. Then various provinces like decentralized in states started forming independent education department, but they function under British control. After post independence establishment in state education department, after 1947, education became a state subject, and each state started organizing its own department of education. The structure are in 1950, that is Constitution of India was adopted. Education was placed under the state list, giving states full control over educational policy. After that, the Central Advisory Board of Education CABE was constituted to coordinate education policy among states. So after independence, it was the state part which look out the education policy and control the administration of the state. So in 1976, after 42nd constitutional amendment, education was moved to the concurrent list, making it a joint responsibility of the center and state government. After that, this 1976 after 1976, it led to reform in state education department with stronger central oversight through bodies like NCERT, UGC, and AICT. State-wise establishment of education department. Then most Indian states officially established their education department between 1950 to 1970, depending on when they are formed. Below is in between 1950 and 1970, most Indian states officially established their education system. The key reforms and milestones are 1968. In 1968, National Policy on Education influencing state policy also. In 1986, new NP emphasized that includes universalization education and promoting states to expand schooling. 2009, Right to Act education and pushing states to implement stricter regulations. In 2020, national NEP led to new structure reform in states education system. In the recent month, in 21st January, our state, Odisha state, officially implemented the NEP 2020. Then we'll discuss about the educational administration at the state level. Educational administration at the state level refers to the management and oversight of public and private education within a state. It involves developing policy, allocating funds, setting academic standards, and ensuring compliance with federal and state law. The key entity responsible for education administration at this level are the State Department of Education. Its main function is the main agency. It is the main agency, and it look out the educational policy, curriculum guideline, the teacher certification, and also school funding. So the State Department of Education function or controls over the curriculum guidelines, educational policy, teacher certification, and school funding. And the State Board of Education is a governing body that establishes educational policy, approve budgets, and set academic standard. And likewise, the Central Board of Education system, the every state has State Board of Education, and it control over the educational policy, approve budget, and set academic standard. After that, a state superintendent of education, it also elected or appointed officially, who leads the state education department and implements policy. In our Odisha, OSEPA, Odisha Secondary Education Authority, there was there was an authority and in every elementary, secondary, and Directorate of T&D CRT and higher education, there is State Superintendent of Education. In detail, we will discuss about the structure of education at director level further. So after that, governor and legislature, these play a role in education funding, law making, and policy approval. Then state education agency, that specialized agency focused on areas like special education, higher education, and vocation training. After that, the Minister of Education of India is responsible for the formulation and implementation of policy related to education in the country, and also it look out both the school education and higher education. So, structure of the ministry is the Department of School Education and Literacy. In the last class, we will already discuss about the Department of Higher Education. The school education is responsible for policy related to elementary, secondary, and adult education, but the Department of Higher Education responsible for in university, college, and other higher educational institutions. So the key responsibility are implementing National NEP 2020, regulation of school and higher education institutions, look out the bodies like CBSE, UGC, AICT, NCRT, NIUS, NCT, and IITS, and promoting literacy vocational training program. Major initiative and schemes under the administrative control of state and the nation, that were Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan and Midday Meal Scheme, National Digital Literacy, SOYAM and NPTL, that under OER, Open Educational Resources, and PMC schools, that modes of schools with high quality infrastructure, that is what nowadays it is running, uh, and it is promoting the high quality infrastructure in the schools like 5T, and in elementary also it is in the every block there is a model school. Then the Ministry of Education is now Dharmendra Pradhan, you know. After that, the administrative structure of the Secretariat of Education in India, organized at both the central and state level to look out and manage the country education system effectively. The central level ministry, in your model it is very well defined. We go through it. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. There is a unified administrative structure at secretariat level, and two separate education department for school and higher education in these states. Now it is the Education Ministry of Schools. You have a look, and you have a look to your module for 2 minutes. Then we will discuss. लिख लग दे Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So in here, in your module, there is a hierarchical structure, that is Education Minister of Schools, then Secretary, then Directorate, then Deputy Director, and District Education Officer. Then in the ground level, there is a Principal or Higher Secondary, Block Education Officer, and after Block Education controls the Headmaster of Middle School, Headmaster of Primary School. So this is the hierarchical structure by which the administrative control is functioned. So in central level, there is Ministry of Education. At the national level, the Ministry of Education is responsible for policy formulation, regulation, and implementation of educational program across the country. And in ministerial leader, under the ministerial leadership, there is Cabinet Minister of Education. Cabinet Minister of Education includes head of the ministry. Now, currently, the head of the ministry is Dharmendra Pradhan sir. From 2000. Now it is visible.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
After that, the now the head of the ministry, Minister of Education is Dharmendra Pradhan from 2024, and after that, Ministry of each state for education that assists the cabinet minister in decision making. Then it is under the ministerial leadership. Then bureaucratic leadership. There are secretary, Minister of Education, include chief administrative officer, is responsible for executing the policy. Then additional secretaries, they assist in policy implementation and coordination. Then joint secretaries, that they manage specific education related decisions. So in two parts, in the under the Ministry of Education, in the leadership part, there is cabinet minister, the head of the Ministry of Education, and Ministry of State. After that, in bureaucratic leadership, there is secretary, then additional secretary, then joint secretary. Hey, Kannada. Then department under Ministry of Education. The ministry is divided into two main departments: Department of School Education and Literacy, and Department of Higher Education. Under the Department of School Education, it handles school education literacy program and children welfare. The divisions are National Education Policy Implementation, Samagra Shiksha, four division. There is four division: NEP, Samagra Shiksha, Midday Meal, and Digital Literacy and E-Governance. And under the Department of Higher Education, it manages university, college, and professional education. The key regulatory bodies under higher education: UGC, AICT, NAC, and NTA. And the autonomous institution under Ministry of Education are NCRT, it's autonomous body, develops school curricula and textbook. Kendriya Vidyalaya KVS, also a autonomous body that runs central government schools. NBS, Navodaya Vidyalaya Samiti, also a autonomous body that operates Jawaharlal Navodaya Vidyalayas. And IITS, Indian Institution of Technology, and National Institute of Technology, NITS, Indian Institute of Management. These are the national level functionaries. After that, the state level, state education department. Each in India, state has its two department of education responsible for implementing policy. Organization structure of the state level are Ministry of Education, head of the department and formulate state specific educational policy, and principal secretary and secretary of education. Mm. Now, who is our Ministry of Education? ମୋ କଥା ଶୁଭୁଛି ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, someone response. ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ମାସ୍ ଏଜୁକେସନ ଡିପାର୍ଟମେଣ୍ଟର ମିନିଷ୍ଟର କିଏ ଅଛନ୍ତି? ମିଷ୍ଟର ନିତ୍ୟାନନ୍ଦ ଗଣ୍ଡ। ଶୁଭୁଛି? ହାୟର ଏଜୁକେସନ ଡିପାର୍ଟମେଣ୍ଟର ମିନିଷ୍ଟର କିଏ ଅଛନ୍ତି?
ସୂର୍ଯ୍ୟବଂଶୀ।
ମିଷ୍ଟର ସୁରଜ ସୂର୍ଯ୍ୟବଂଶୀ। ତ ମିନିଷ୍ଟ୍ରି ଅଫ ଏଜୁକେସନରେ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ମିନିଷ୍ଟର ଲେବୁଲରେ ମିନିଷ୍ଟର ରହିଲେ ହାୟର ଏଜୁକେସନ ମିନିଷ୍ଟର ଫର ହାୟର ଏଜୁକେସନ ଡିପାର୍ଟମେଣ୍ଟ and minister of school and mass education department. Then after principal secretary, secretary of education. ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ସ୍କୁଲ ଆଣ୍ଡ ମାସ୍ ଏଜୁକେସନରେ କିଏ ସେକ୍ରେଟାରୀ ଅଛନ୍ତି? ଶାଲିନୀ ପଣ୍ଡିତ ମ୍ୟାଡାମ ଅଛନ୍ତି। ତ ଇନ୍ ଷ୍ଟେଟ୍ କେମିତି ଆଡମିନିଷ୍ଟ୍ରେଟିଭ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରକ୍ଚର ଫଙ୍କସନ କରୁଛି? ତ ଷ୍ଟେଟ୍ ମିନିଷ୍ଟ୍ରି ପରେ ପ୍ରିନ୍ସିପାଲ ସେକ୍ରେଟାରୀ and secretary of education. They are the senior bureaucrat that look out the implementation of the policy. Then after the directorate of education, there is director of elementary education, director of secondary education, and director of SCST development, and director of T and SCRT. So director of education manage school and colleges. Then after district education officer, so-called DO, and DO supervise educational administration at the district level. Then block education officer BOs, that they handles education matter at block level. So in your module, it is clearly shown in a hierarchical model. These are the cabinet minister, the state minister, then principal secretary, additional secretary, and secretariat level, deputy secretary, under secretary. After that, then commissioner comes secretary, then directorate, then additional directorate, then joint directorate, director of SCRT, mission director of RGSM, MD, MP, textbook corporation, director of SCRT. These are these functions. Then chairman board of secondary education, director of MP open schools. After commissioner comes secretary, then director, then deputy director, then district education officer. These are the rank. Deputy director is equivalent to district education officer in the post, ranking of the post. Deputy director and they are equal level. After deputy director, it is coming to finance officer, assistant director, or accounts officer. District education officer further decentralized into assistant director and BOs. Then after planning officer, assistant staff, assistant officer. This is the function of district level officers. State level education body, state educational bodies, example CBSE, a state board like CBSE board of Maharashtra, CBSE, SSC, UP board, and state council of foundational research and training, that is called SCRT. It develop the curriculum. State examination board conduct exam for school and teachers. After that, in local level, district and block administration, there is DO. DO supervises schools, teacher appointment and policy implementation. Then BO administers school education in smaller subdivisions. Then school principal, headmaster, they directly manage school level operations. So this is the hierarchical structure, ensures smooth governance and policy execution and quality control at all levels. Director of School Education, Joint Director Elementary, Joint Director School Education. These are the posts of at Directorate of School Education, Deputy Director and Accounts Officer, and the official divided into different the section officer, assistant section, these different sections like gazetted section, non-gazetted section, general section, planning section, private school section, account section. These are the official staffs at directorate level. Computer section, SSA section, migrant section, legal section, PD section, and receipt and dispatch section. Then joint director school education, joint director elementary education. After that, joint director training, then personal officer, then deputy director at the deputy director level. The constraints in functioning of the education department um, after the Kothari Commission. The Kothari Commission 1961 has defined the role of the educational secretaries. And these are in Himachal Pradesh, that is the director of elder education whole perform karibo ki education system ro secretariat level re. Then Jammu Kashmir re director of school education perform karibo ki education secretary head habo director of school education. Similarly, all the states are defined in the national level, define the education system or control the administrative control of the state. In addition to the Mass and Adult Education Directorate, all the states have Board of School Education, but in the some states there are two or more Board of School Education. In Odisha, how many boards are boards of education? ଓଡ଼ିଶାରେ ଆମର କେତେଟା ବୋର୍ଡ ଚାଲିଛି? Am I audible?
State board, CBSE, ICSE.
ଓଡ଼ିଶାରେ ଷ୍ଟେଟ୍ ବୋର୍ଡ ଚାଲିଛି, CBSE ଚାଲିଛି, ICSE ମଧ୍ୟ ଚାଲିଛି. ତ but West Bengal has 5 boards of education, but at present almost all the states on the pattern of Central Advisory Board of Education at the national level. All the states have State Council of Education Research and Training, you know. That is, all states have one SCRT, and SCRT, the NCRT administers or control the each state SCRT, and SCRT has 30 DADs, 33 ETI, and 4 BADs. Each SCRT in Odisha, in our state, there is 30 DADs in each district controlled by SCRT, and 33 ETI, Elementary Teachers Training Institutions, controlled by SCRT, and also 4 BID in the SC/ST community area, 4 BIDs that are also controlled by SCRT. ବାଇଟ୍ କୋଉଠି କୋଉଠି ଅଛି ଆମର କହିଲ? ଜଣା ଅଛି?
କନ୍ଧମାଳ କଳିଙ୍ଗା।
ଗୋରୁ ମହିଷାଣୀ ଗୋଟେ 4ଟି ବାଇଟ୍ ଅଛି ଆମର। ମୋଷ୍ଟ ପପୁଲେଟେଡ୍ SC/ST ଏରିଆରେ ଅଛି। ରାଇରଙ୍ଗପୁରରେ ଅଛି ଗୋଟେ ଗୋରୁ ମହିଷାଣୀ ତାକୁ ଆମେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି। You search in the SCRT site, you will get. ETI 33 ଟା ଅଛି। କଳିଙ୍ଗା ଯୋଉ କହିଲା that is separate ETI କଳିଙ୍ଗା and 30 district ରେ 30 ଟା diet ଅଛି that SCRT control all the diet ETI and bites and NCRT controls all the SCRT in each state. Then State Council of Higher Education has been set up by many university to review performance, determine financial requirement and plan innovation and inter-coordinations. The state government function as Director of Teacher Education, Director of Language, Sports and Youth, Directorate of Adult and Non-Formal Education. These are all the directorate in education system, Directorate of Vocational Education and Directorate of SCRT, SIEs, Advanced Study of Education, CTE for school education as a whole. Then Autonomous Teaching Training Institution and University Department of Education. Then academic institution including like Teachers Training Institution, that there is also a directorate for this. Then Board of School Education. After that, implementation of policy and determined levels of education. At elementary level, they also implemented the education policy and in adult education, secondary education, and also in secondary education, there is opens the government school and administer them. Set rules and regulation, provide finance to the government. जो ग्रांटेड एड कहुचे आमे सर्वशिक्षा तरफरु एवं विभिन्न प्राइवेट एडेड स्कूल को दिया जाछि. Then prescribe the course of studying up to elementary school. Then recruit, promotion, teacher transfer is regulated by the directorate and also setting of educational tribunal जहाँ court case जहाँ भी अच्छी सब setting होची. Norm of inspection and supervision and guidelines should be followed by the secondary education system. It provides professional support like SCRT, Institution of Advanced Study in Education, College of Teacher Education, and also RI, Regional Institute of Education. State-wise innovative scheme. This is a important part in which state there different states there are very innovative programs are running. In Bihar there is Mahila Samakya program to activate women Charo education. You read about, you go through your material. But in Odisha, Jyoti movement from 1991 to 92, then bridge course of tribal children's school, computer program everywhere, tribal research institution, nutritional support to primary education system. These are the innovation of different states. And administration of higher education system, you know that there is a university education and college education. University is the autonomous body and both are under the control of Ministry of Education, Ministry of Higher Education and Principal Secretary of Higher Education. Then we'll discuss about the central-state relationship. First of all, the historical perspectives. The Crown and the provincial relations. The Crown and provincial relations in India refers to the governance structure under British rule, particularly after the Government of India Act 1935. Was established a federal system between the British Crown, that is central government, and the provinces. At that time, the central government is controlled by the British rule. So, the federal system between the British rule and the provinces. Then, after before pre 1935 era, it is centralized control. So the British government exercised strong centralized control over India. The provinces were largely administrative units under the direct authority of the Viceroy of India and the Secretary of State for India in Britain. The Government of India Act after 1919 introduced diarchy, which gave limited self-government to Indian ministry in some provincial departments. But in ultimate power remained with the crown. And after that, Government of India Act 1935, the Government of India Act 1935 was a turning point in central-province relationship. It created a federal structure with separate power for the crown and provinces. They abolished hierarchy and gave provincial government more autonomy, allowed provincial legislature to function with elected Indian ministers through the governor. The governor was appointed by the British Crown, but the governor appointed the Indian minister and divided subject into federal, that is central, provincial, or state, and a concurrent list, influencing the structure of Indian constitution after independence. Then crown control over provinces, it increased autonomy. The crown maintained authority over Indian province through governor, uh, governor and could override provincial government, but in emergency power, allowing the viceroy or British Parliament to dismiss provincial governors. Then financial dependency at the central government control taxation and revenue distribution. After post-independence influence in Indian constitution after 1950, uh, the federal structure is prevailed but made the center stronger than the provinces. Many principles from the 1935 Act, like the division of power, governor role, and emergency provision, influence Indian central-state relations today. But the decentralized process is started from after 1950 and controlled by the state. Then a federal structure, the federal structure and devolution of resources. A federal structure is a system of governance where power and responsibility are divided between central government and state government, and also local bodies. This structure ensures that different levels of government have autonomy in their respective area while maintaining unity at the national level. So, the key feature of federal structure is division of powers. It is a very good initiative after independence. Division of power. Authority is constitutionally divided between the central and regional government. Each level has specified function and responsibility. We already discussed about that. In each level, after level in state, there is a department or a department head, and it controls the financial responsibility and also the implementation of the policy. Then constitutional supremacy. Constitution serves as the supreme legal document that defines the role and limit of the each government tier. So all the department and secretary level, the constitution is the higher in the higher level, and it is The role and the limits of each government are between the constitution supremacy. Then autonomy of the state and provinces, that's subnational government have independent decision making power in areas assignment to them, and each state have their individual power for functioning and maintaining quality of education. Then bicameral legislation, that often there is a upper house in the state and representing states as at the national level. Independent judiciary, a judiciary system resolve conflict between different levels of government. In all the director level, there is a judiciary level, and it controls the conflict between the government and the department. Then revenue sharing, financial resources are distributed between central and subnational government. Also, structure. What is these are the federal structure, and after that we will discuss the devolution of resources in the federal structure. How the resources devolution of resources in a federal structure. Devolution refers to the transfer of power, but a federal structure is a system of governance where power and refers to and responsibility and financial resources from the central government to the regional and local government. So it ensures equitable distribution and efficient governance. ଯେତେବେଳେ ବଜେଟ୍ ହେଉଛି ସେତେବେଳେ ପ୍ରତ୍ୟେକ ଷ୍ଟେଟ୍କୁ ଏଜୁକେସନାଲି କେତେ ଫାଇନାନ୍ସ ସାଙ୍କସନ୍ ହେବ ସେଇଠି ହିଁ ସବୁ ଡିସିସନ୍ ନିଆଯିବ। ସେଣ୍ଟ୍ରାଲ ଷ୍ଟେଟ୍ ବଣ୍ଡିଂରେ ସେଣ୍ଟର ପୁଣି ଷ୍ଟେଟ୍କୁ ଦେବ, ଷ୍ଟେଟ୍ ପୁଣି ପ୍ରତ୍ୟେକ ଆନାଲିସିସ୍ କରିବ ପ୍ରତ୍ୟେକ ଡିପାର୍ଟମେଣ୍ଟ ୱାଇଜ୍ how much finance should be given to them. So it ensures equitable distribution and efficient governance. What are the methods of resource devolution? One is the fiscal federalism, and that allocation of revenue between different government levels through taxation, grant, and transfers. After that, revenue sharing. This is the distribution of national revenue based on criteria such as population, economic contribution, and need. After that, autonomy in resources, resource management. State manage their own natural and financial resources. Then equalization of fund. National funds allocated to support less developed regions and reduce disparity. So, in the state of Odisha, there is 10 aspirational districts in which they are underdeveloped, and the educational system is performance is below in comparison to other districts. So there are 10 aspirational districts, and more funds will be provided to these districts to maintain maintain the equitable distribution and efficient governance. What are the challenges in devolution? Challenges. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Challenges in devolution are disparity in wealth. Resources rich region may develop faster than inequality area, and also political conflict means it dispute over resources allocation can lead to tension between different government levels. Suppose the in the year 2025, there is diet of excellence. There is a diet of excellence, and the funds are provided to each diet for their growth and development. But sometimes political conflicts is placed there, and tension between different government levels, and the work is not executed easily. Then after corruption and management, poor governance and subnational level may lead to an inefficient use of developed resources. ପଇସା ଯେତିକି ଆସୁଛି ବିଭିନ୍ନ ଥ୍ରୋରେ ତାକୁ କାମ ଦିଆଯାଉଛି। ସପୋଜ ଆରଡି କୁ ଦିଆଗଲା, ବେଳେବେଳେ ଜିଡି କୁ ଦିଆଯାଉଛି କାମ, ବେଳେ ଆରଡି କୁ ଦିଆଯାଉଛି, ବେଳେବେଳେ ଏସବୁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ସେମାନଙ୍କୁ ଦିଆଯାଉଛି ଏଷ୍ଟିମେସନ ଦିଆଯାଉଛି ଏବଂ लो କ୍ୱାଲିଟିର କାମ ହେଉଛି ସେତେବେଳେ କ'ଣ ହୁଏ ନା ଏଇ ଯେଉଁ କରପସନ୍ ଆଣ୍ଡ ମିସମ୍ୟାନେଜମେଣ୍ଟ ପ୍ରପରଲି ତାକୁ ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣାନ୍ସ ବା କରାଯାଇପାରେ ନାହିଁ ସେ ଯୋଗୁଁ ଇନଏଫିସିଏଣ୍ଟଲି କାମ ଗୁଡ଼ାକ ହୁଏ। So that is also a challenges for devolution. Then capacity gap. Local government may lack the expertise to manage resources. Suppose HM को दे दिया गला बिल्डिंग करबा पई तो ताकर आइडिया नाही बा सिविल स्ट्रक्चर करबा पई से एफिशिएंट नुहंती तो से जगह रे कोन है ना रिसोर्स ठीक भाव रे इफेक्टिवली मैनेज हे पारे ना। So this is also a issue. So proper प्रोसीजर रे प्रॉपर लोक को काम मिलले काम इफेक्टिवली हे परियो। तो एग्जांपल ऑफ फेडरल स्ट्रक्चर some examples are United States रे कोन स्टेट have control over taxation, law making and resource management, but in India states and local government receive financial devolution based on recommendation from the finance commission. But in Nigeria, revenue from natural resources such as oil is shared between the federal, state, and local government. After that, we will discuss about the Constitution, Education, and the Constitution of India. In your module, it is clearly defined. In India, education in India is a fundamental right, you know, and is governed by the Constitution of India. Constitution is the supreme power, which provides various. First of all, right to education, Article 21A. You already know about that. After 86th Constitutional Amendment Act 2002, added Article 21A, making free and compulsory education, and education is a fundamental right for children between 6 to 14 years. Now it is revised at 3 to 18 years. Then Right to Education Act 2009 was also enacted to implement this provision. After that, the directive principle of state policy, Article 41, the states shall make provision for education and public assistance. Then Article 45, the states, Article 45 कौन पे अच्छी?
मैम वर्तमान ईसीसी ପାଇଁ 86 amendment ପୂର୍ବରୁ ସେଟା ଥିଲା 6 to 14 ପାଇଁ
हाँ compulsory education थिला वर्तमान that is the state shall provide early childhood care education for children below 6 years. Defines Article 45 defines that. Then Article 46, the state shall promote education and economic interest of scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and other weaker sections. Then reservation in education from Article 15(4) to 15(5). Article 15(4) allows the state to make special provision for the advancement of socially and educationally backward classes like SST and SCST. Then Article 15(5) enables the state to make special provision for the reservation in educational institutions. Then in category education as a concurrent subject, there is Article 246 and Schedule 7. At the 22nd amendment, the 42nd Amendment Act 1976 shifted education from the state list to the concurrent list. State list thila to concurrent list karagala. Now both the central and state government can make law and education. Then protection of Ministry of Educational Right, the Article 29 and 30. Article 29 protects the right of culture and linguistic minority. Article 30 grant minority the right to establish and administer their educational institutions. And language or education related articles are 343 and 351. Article 343 describe Hindi is the official language, but English continue as an associate language. Article 358 defined that States should provide primary education in the mother tongue of linguistic minority. Then Article 351 defines that it promotion of the Hindi language while respecting other language. So three language formula asigala. Then higher education and specialized body, the articles are 246, entry 66 of union list. The central government has exclusive power over higher education institution like UGC, AICT. So Indian Constitution ensure equitable access and quality, and also to maintain equity and the protection of diverse educational needs. And also it lays the foundation for various policy and program aimed at universalization of education in India. Then in India, education and finance are two crucial sectors that are managed at both the central and state level. The education center in India has several top education hubs with leading university, research institution and IIT-IIMs. Major education centers like Delhi NCR, and under Delhi NCR there is JNU, AIMS and IIT Delhi. But in Bangalore, there is IISc, IIM Bangalore, and several technological university. And in Pune, there are houses of Savitribai Phule, Pune University, and Symbiosis and FTII. In Mumbai, there is IIT Bombay, University of Mumbai, and NMIMS. Then in Kolkata, there is Features Presidency University, IIM Kolkata, and Jadavpur University. Then in Chennai, IIT Madras and Anna University. In Hyderabad also, known for ISB, IIT Hyderabad, Triple IT Hyderabad, and Osmania University. And the financial center in India, like Mumbai, the headquarters of RBI, SCBI, NSE, BSE, and major banks. In Delhi, policy and finance institutions like Niti Aayog and major PSU bank. But in Bangalore, emerging fintech hub with startup and IT-driven financial services. And financial center in Hyderabad is host IT firm and a growing financial service sector. And in Chennai, the financial hub is strong banking sector presence, including RBI regional offices. And now we'll discuss the role of state in education and finance. State manage school education, set policy and regulate university. Central institutions are funded by the union government. And the state have their own budget, taxation and financial institution while working under national financial policy. The central government plays a crucial role in financing education through various policy, funding, and regulatory framework. It's mainly budget allocation. The central government allocate funds for education through national budget, ensuring sufficient resource for schools, college, and university. Then it sets also national education policy and priority, determining funding distribution and expenditure pattern also. Then grant and subsidies. The government provides financial aid, scholarship, subsidy to support students, teachers, and educational institution, especially in under-reserved area. That In Odisha, that is aspiration district. Then infrastructure development also funded by the national government. Funding is used for constructing schools, classroom, library, and technology driven learning resources. And teacher salary and training also, the central government finances teacher recruitment, salaries, and professional development program to build the capacity or to improve educational quality. And also for maintain equity and inclusion by special provision are made by marginalized community, including free education, midday meal, like Kasturba Gandhi Vidyalaya midday meal program, and initiative to promote gender equality in education, and also provide funds finance to research and innovation in higher education, and research institution receive government funding to ensure innovation and global competitiveness, and also provide funds for monitoring and evaluation. The central government look out the education quality through national assessment, accreditation bodies, and standardized testing. So these are the involvement varies by country depending on the level of decentralization in education and funding and administration. Then the coordination at the state level in education. At the state level, education coordination involves planning, implementation, and monitoring. Policy implementation, state adopt and implement national education policy based on local need and resources. जहाँ भी सेंटर पॉलिसी हम किंतु सेटा स्टेट स्पेसिफिक हम ऑलरेडी डिस्कस इन टू लास्ट मॉड्यूल्स द पॉलिसी मस्ट बी स्टेट स्पेसिफिक सो इम्प्लीमेंटेशन जेतेबेले करिया को पड़िबो कोऑर्डिनेशन एंड स्टेट विथ सेंटर दैट मेंटेन्स द local specific educational policy based on local need and resources. Then funding and budget allocation, state government allocate funds for schools, teachers, salary, infrastructure, and scholarship. And state also developed their own curriculum. Now the Odisha state is developed the curriculum for secondary or middle stage. It is also but nowadays it is formulated by SCRT. And then states can modify the national curriculum to include local language, history, and culture. In the teacher recruitment, state also handle the hiring or training and professional development teachers. And state also monitor and evaluate the system. State education board look out the exams, school inspection, and student assessment. And state also coordinate with the local body. State work with the panchayat and municipal bodies for decentralization of school and management. Then state also include the welfare program like state run program like midday meal, free textbook, and scholarship support to underprivileged students. And also the in village level setup of panchayati raj institution in education. Panchayati raj institution play a vital role in decentralized education governance. The setup is as follows, like gram panchayat at village level, and block panchayat at intermediate level. The function of gram panchayat is manages primary school and anganwadi and ensure enrollment, retention, and attention of students. Monitor midday meal scheme. Participate in the school management committee. These are the function of gram panchayat. Manage primary school education and anganwadi, ensure enrollment, retention, and attendance, monitor midday meal, and participate in the school management committee. In function of the block panchayat level at intermediate level, it look out the multiple village schools, coordinate teacher appointment and training, monitor school infrastructure development. At the Jilla Parishad level, it implements state education policy at the district level, allocate resources to school, supervises teacher transfer and promotion, ensure quality education through district education offices. So, Panchayat Raj institutions enhance grassroots participation in education, improving accountability, inclusivity, and access to quality learning. In India, the village level management structure in education operates under the decentralized governance system, primarily guided by the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992, which empowered Panchayati Raj institutions to play a key role in education, that is Gram Panchayat governance at a village level. The Gram Panchayat is responsible for educational development in village, and it also work under Panchayati Raj system and collaborate with with other educational related bodies. But SMC now is working in the school, a school management committee. It established under the Right to Education Act 2009 to government and aided schools. It composed of parents, majority parents, and teachers, local elected representatives from panchayat members, headmaster, and the function of the SMC functions of the SMC are monitor school functioning, prepare and implement school development plan. Uh, that may be say 6 month plan or yearly planning, ensure enrollment and retention of children, utilize government funds effectively. These are the main function of the SMC. To monitor school functioning, prepare, implement school development plan, ensure enrollment and retention, utilize the government fund effectively. Then village education committee, a subcommittee of the Gram Panchayat responsible for elementary education that ensure school infrastructure development, teacher attendance and performance, midday meal scheme implementation, community participation in education. The Parent Teacher Association (PTA), you know about that Parent Teacher Association. It works closely with SMC, strengthen communication between parent and teachers, encourage community participation in education, and the Anganwadi centers and Balbadi centers for pre-primary education is also function for maintain quality. Part of the Integrated Child Development Service (ICDS) and focus on early child care education (ECC). ICDS and ECC collaboratively working for the Anganwadi centers, managed by Anganwadi workers under Gram Panchayat supervision. Then block and district level linkages are the block education officer BO and DO, district education officer, look out and support village level educational bodies. Then what are the role of NGO in education in India? NGOs plays a crucial role in supplementing government effort to improve education in India, especially in rural and underprivileged areas. They work at various levels, from policy advocacy to grassroots implementation. Key roles of NGO already discussed in last module. Key roles of NGO in education are promoting access to education. Uh, the Pratham NGO working in Odisha is also working for promoting access to education. That and establishing non-formal education center for out-of-school children, running bridge course to integrate dropouts into formal schooling, supporting marginalized groups like girls, tribal children, children with disability, and conducting awareness campaign on the Right to Education Act. These are the initiative of NGOs to promoting access in education. And training to teachers, innovative pedagogy and technology driven learning, providing supplementary education and remedial coaching for weak students, developing learning materials and digital tools to enhance education. These are the initiative of NGO to promote or improving quality of education. And another is the constructing and renovating schools, classroom and library, providing furniture, books and basic facility like drinking water, toilet, setting up smart classroom and computer lab. These are the initiative of NGOs to promote infrastructural development. And also running Anganwadi preschool program to improve foundational learning, promoting early childhood care and education. This is also another initiative taken by NGO to promote early childhood care education. And running vocational training program, connecting training individual to employment opportunity like IT, tailoring, carpentry, entrepreneurship. These are the initiative for skill development and vocational training. Another is women's education and empowerment. Uh, for this, advocating for girls' education and tackling issue like child marriage, running literacy program for women and girls, providing scholarship and mentorship to encourage higher education. These are the initiative by NGO to promote women education and empowerment. Another initiatives are assisting in policy making and implementing of educational reform, partnership with the government for public-private education program, conducting research. These are the initiatives to promote policy advocacy and government collaboration. Notable NGO in education in India, that is Pratham, already discussed, focus on basic literacy and numeracy. Teachers teach for India, another NGO that is recruit and train literacy and girls education. Another NGO Smile on healthcare and skill development. Another is Ekal Vidyalaya provides single teacher schools in remote villages. And there are several challenges faced by the NGO, that is funding constraint, coordination issue, and scalability challenges, and monitoring and accountability. But NGO plays a critical role in ensuring inclusive and quality education, especially for marginalized communities. So, strengthening government NGO partnership and providing better funding and support can further enhance their impact. After that, the State Institution of Education and Management and Training (CMAT) uh, is an organization established in various Indian states to enhance the quality of education planning, management, and training. Initially set up in state, participating in the district primary education program (DPP), CMETs were later expanded to other regions as part of the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan initiative, aiming um, uh, universalization of elementary education. So, the State Institution of Education and Management and Training (CMAT) is a case study in a module, and CMATs were later expanded to other regions as part of the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan initiative aiming for universalization of elementary education. In Odisha, the Director of Teacher Education and the State Council of Educational Research and Training T&ACRT serve functions similar to those of CMET. Established as an independent directorate on January 15, 1990, it evolved from the State Institution of Education in 1964 to the State Council of Educational Research and Training. CMET ଯେତେବେଳେ 1964 established ହେଲା, but in Odisha it is now it is function as ACRT after 1979. First of in 1990 it was established, but up to 1960, from the 1964 it is from as like CMET, but nowadays the CMET is converted into the SCRT from 1979, and finally to its concurrent current form, that is SCRT in Odisha. This progression reflects the state commitment to advancing educational research, planning and management. ତ ପ୍ରଥମେ ଯେଉଁ ଇନଷ୍ଟିଟ୍ୟୁସନ ଡେଭଲପ ହେଇଥିଲା ସିମେଟ, ତାକୁ ଆଡଭାନ୍ସ ଫର୍ମରେ develop karagala. So this is a progression that reflects the state commitment to advancing educational research, planning and management. The primary objective of this institution is providing training and capacity building program for educational administrator, teachers and other stakeholders. And developing, this is the function of SCRT. SCRT function as SCRT providing training and capacity building program for educational administrator, teachers and other stakeholders, and also developing and disseminating research based knowledge on educational planning and management, and also offering technical assistance to state government in formulating educational policy and program, and facilitating the exchange of idea and experiences among educational professionals across state and region. The effort of SCRT is to aim to improve the quality of education by supporting effective planning and management at the state level. You can go through your module. That is what is the function of CMET, the basic information about the CMET, present status of CMET, and the objective of CMET, and the case study CMET in Maharashtra. So the basic information about the CMET, it established from was approved in the prospective plan of the DPP during the year of 96, and functioning as a part of state project DPP under DPP under the Himachal Pradesh Primary Education Program, and it is it has and it is the CMET is presently part of Himachal Pradesh, and present status of CMET is the orientation and training of DIET faculty, BRCC, master research person, and also state research person. Now this is a function of SCRT also. Promote and conduct research program, provide professional research support to the district level agency institutions, and undertake studies for evaluation of various programs to develop database information, documentation and dissemination. These are the objective of CMET. Appraisal of annual work plan, capacity building of the school heads, and capacity building of the educational administrator, implementation of innovative project under computer education, and development of prospective plan and annual work plan and budget, and conducting research study, develop database for education for all, conducting household survey, monitoring and evaluation in Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. So these are the function of CMET and these are the function of SCRT in the Odisha. So this is all about your block 2 and um, in the next class we will discuss about the block your block 3, that is 4 units, and we will elaborately discuss the unit 9, 10, 11, 12 in the last class. If you have any doubt, you can ask, otherwise we will close the class. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
କିଛି doubt ଅଛି?
No, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello.
Okay, thank you.
Hello.
ହଁ କୁହ।
Excuse me, ma'am. ଟିକେ doubt ଥିଲା।
ହଁ କୁହ।
ମ୍ୟାମ୍ assignments ବିଷୟରେ ଟିକେ ପଚାରିଥିଲା କି ଆମର assignment actually 6 credit ଲେଖୁଛି କେତେ ତାମାନେ କେତେ ମାର୍କ ର assignment ଟା ଲେଖିବୁ?
Regarding assignment କେତେ ମାର୍କର କହୁଛ?
କେତେ ମାର୍କ ର assignments ଟା 500 word ଭିତରେ ଗୋଟେ question attend କରିବାର ଅଛି ମ୍ୟାମ୍। ତ କେତେ ମାର୍କ ଗୋଟେ assignments ଗୋଟେ ପେପର ଟା ଯେମିତି କି ଏଇ ପେପର ଟା ଆମର କେତେ ମାର୍କ ସେଟା ଜାଣି ପାରୁନୁ।
ଓକେ, ତ ମୋତେ ଟିକେ ଡିସ୍କସ୍ କରିବାକୁ ପଡ଼ିବ, କରିକି ମୁଁ କହିବି ନେକ୍ସଟ କ୍ଲାସ୍ରେ। ତମେ ମୋତେ ମନେ ପକେଇବ ନେକ୍ସଟ କ୍ଲାସ୍ରେ।
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
Regarding your assignment, I will clarify your doubts.
Okay, ma'am. Yes, thank you.
Okay, now we will close the class. Next
Yes,
class we
ma'am.
will
Thank you,
discuss.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, okay.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.